What happened?
I hit the wrong button.
Wait, what happened?
I hit the wrong button.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that.
Okay, so look on your screen and just center yourself in like what you see. Yeah, there you go.
Like that.
No, you're good. That's what I'm trying to do. Because this is what like shows up on the video or whatever. I don't know if I play music if it will go in the background.
Just let me know when you're ready. Do you want me to like? I'm going to try setting this so I can see you a little bit better too. Matter of fact, let's do this. Still hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, ready whenever you are.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to Turn 2 Gaming. I'm one of your main hosts, Matt Bartram. I'm with my friend, AJ Burning. How you doing, AJ?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I know it's been a month, but there's been a lot happening, some sadness, some good things, but mostly we're coming back together to get things going again still, which is the most important thing to do. We didn't forget about you guys. Just kind of things just kind of happen. I don't know. I'm going to watch what I kind of say, but in a nutshell, beginning of the month, I had a friend that recently passed away. He was really close to me, so I just needed to take that break, and I worked a little bit, worked through the emotions. I'm doing a lot better now. But yeah, I'm sorry, been out for a little bit, but I just want to let everybody know that that's the reason why I was gone. I don't want people to be, stressing or anything like that. But I'm good now. Just it's been a rough month. So
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
yeah.
I think both you and I have been working a lot now, so
Yeah, overtime seems like it's kicking back up for everybody, which is great. More money, more things to do. So now it's that time that we got to start relaxing a little bit and dialing back to what's more important right now. So, which is family and taking care of things that needs to be done, like around the house and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure.
But
I'm sorry to.
I guess
I'm sorry to.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I know we've talked, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm sorry that happened, and that's just a really tough thing to go through.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I don't know if you know any of the people I know, but I've heard about it, from others too about your friend passing. So it's definitely even been across my news feed that I didn't know them, but I still kind of had people that were impacted by that. Yeah. So
especially for how being shocking it was. So
I know. Yeah, but definitely.
Our episode's really depressing too, I think.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be depressing.
No,
it can be encouraging, but I think the topic that we're talking about today, being burned out, but also just kind of having like I don't know, like the summer lull. Like there's just so much going on. And, this kind of goes back to, I think, our primary topic of conversation is Magic the Gathering, which I love that. That's how you and I have just, formed a great friendship over the years by hanging out and doing Magic. But
Right.
through all that, we've actually become real life friends. Like
Yeah.
through, and we talk more about life than games now. And I feel like it can be frustrating when
For
the
sure.
things we enjoy as a hobby don't really give you that joy in the moment.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Like I'm going through this
Yeah.
now with like playing Diablo 4. I'm having a super fun time, but it's like my expectations versus reality have to like match or try to get as close to
Right.
matching. And you know, I and that's the thing is the same with Magic and other things. Like you just have to go in knowing that the game can't do much other than provide entertainment. So,
Right.
and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But no, I'd be interested to hear
Like,
about what's going on in your life and stuff with that.
yeah, yeah. So okay, right now I have not been playing Magic for the whole month. There's like part of it's because my friend's passing, but another part of it too is it's just like modern does not look interesting to me. I mean, I know that everybody's playing kind of like the most popular deck right now is the One Ring with Omnath. Have you seen how that works?
No, I'll
It's
look it up. Well,
stupid.
you keep talking.
Yeah, like you're just drawing cards and with a run ring and then gaining life, and it's just like a constant little balance of that. And there's more to it than that, but to me, it's just it's not even because it's called the One Ring. It's just like because it's using Lord of the Rings into the game now. But it's just to me, I don't know. The game just doesn't seem that fun at the moment for me.
Yeah.
So, like it's not like it can't be handled. Like the deck's not like, I mean, it's powerful, but it's just, Omnath or something's gonna get banned. I would assume because it just seems too powerful in a sense. Because if you
Mm.
be too control, and it's one of those things. You can't be. You don't want a meta that's super aggro, but you also don't want a meta that's super controlling. So that's where and right now it's hey, can I get their One Ring out on what probably turn 3 because you're using Halfling Citizen, so and that can make it uncountable, so you can't even interact with that.
Oh man, I'm reading this card. I hadn't really truly looked at this stuff, but
Right,
this is kind of like that fear of mine was like, is it infiltrating our game that we like? And
right.
the One Ring, how much more can you infiltrate into Magic? It's the ring.
Well, and it's
That's
such a ridiculous
crazy.
price. It's such a ridiculous price because granted, I think that's understandable. It's gonna be a high value card, but like, it's come in bundles, and even with the bundles, it's still a $50 card. So like
That's
people are buying
weird.
these for like $50, selling the card and seeing what happens, or
So
keeping if they
wait,
wanted to.
in the bundle, the One Ring comes.
Yeah, just you have to make sure which one it is. Like I know some of them don't have it, but this one, like there's some of them that has the One Ring with it because it has the pictogram with Gollum and Frodo, and
Oh,
I don't really know too much about Lord of the
see,
Rings, but I think it's
this is exactly what I haven't even like the whole set dropped, and then I found out somebody pulled the ring in like Canada, and then
yeah. And then there's
that
a
was
whole
it.
discussion
Like they,
about the Canada thing. See that because if it how they can make that like oh my gosh, cat going crazy.
yeah.
Is that a baby kitten? Which one do you got? Do you get a new cat?
No, no, it's just she gets nervous sometimes whenever I had to close our bedroom door so I wasn't too loud, so she can't get in there.
Gotcha.
But she's
Gotcha.
fine.
But yeah, yeah. One ring, and Halfling Citizen, and I'm sure there's gonna be some other cards because the cards at some point, they're taking over the format. So definitely the One Ring is, and I don't see them banning the One Ring because at least I wouldn't think they would because it's what's making them money, and I think a lot of people will be upset. But
Well, I just watched a video about. I think it was Oh, I can't remember. I don't want to steal someone's idea, but basically they were talking about the different
Perfecting it.
formats, and like there's always been aggro, control, and then the other archetype, which I can't think of in my head.
Combo?
Yes, thank you. And then mid range has like evolved. It's the Jund. Um, it's from Card Market. It was a video from Card Market about Jund with Reed Duke.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what's interesting is out of the Jund has come like the good stuff deck, which is like mid range. And
Mm-hmm.
this deck I'm looking at right here, 5 color elementals, it's just all the best cards in modern put in one deck, and that's it. I mean, the Nissa Resurgent Animus was one from Aftermath. That's a really good
Right.
card. But then look at it. There is Lord of the Rings, Aftermath, Omnath, which is a ridiculous card, Elish Norn,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous card, Fury and Solitude and Endurance, Leyline Binding, Ren and Six, Teferi, Ending. I mean, that
And
literally,
and gives you such great benefits because it's triomes are kind of even they kind of feel like sometimes a mistake almost some
in
days
this
if you're
kind
not
of deck,
following.
yes.
And like 'cause you got the ley line binding, what it like it just makes it 1 cost or 2 costs at that point,
Yeah.
majority of the time.
But
So
like, I'm not trying to act like the format can't. And I know we're
yeah,
like
it can't
talking a lot
right.
about modern, but it needs to
Yeah,
progress. But at
for
what
sure.
cost? And that's, I think that's the general sentiment of my burnout is like I get more excited about seeing a random popper deck on our pages that we follow. I think you and I follow
Right.
similar pages
Oh yeah. Yeah.
than I do ever. I used to look up competitive decks every day, multiple times a day. I would sit
Mm-hmm.
down like on a break or, you know, waiting in the pickup line, for my daughter. And you just literally, I'd be like, okay, what dropped on MTGO? And now I don't have any desire to do that because it's like, well, one, I don't have any tournament I'm prepping for. And then second, it's like, why bother whenever these cards are like either so oppressive they're insanely expensive, or you can't even, it's not fun. That's what it comes down to, is like, is this fun chasing
And
this?
and and really the only format that looks fun chasing for me, which is probably for you, is Popper.
Yeah.
As stupid as that sounds, I feel like that's the only format in my like that. I know everybody's there could be other people who be like, well, this is the best format, blah blah blah. Which that's part of the whole burnout thing. But like I don't even have fun playing Pioneer anymore.
I
That's
thought
what's
I
crazy.
thought I'd never hear you say that. You
Yeah,
you kind of ignited the Pioneer fire in me to play again,
right.
and we played for like, shoot, probably the entirety of since I moved, and then
Hmm.
here we are in 23. It's like, no, I guess we're back to Popper, which is
Yeah,
nice to have a home. Like, I don't want to say I'm burned out on the game because I have all my decks right here by me. It's like,
right,
I,
right.
I
Like
love I love
I'm
Magic.
not selling out. Right.
Oh no, no, and I don't even have like that much to sell anymore. But
Right.
you know, going back to a couple podcasts ago, I have gotten a few more decks for my battle box, but I've kind of stopped this past month because I didn't really want to buy cards, and I probably am not going to buy cards until the fall.
And
So I
that's another
think
thing. I really don't want to buy cards at all. It's crazy.
no.
I've never been that. I've
If
never been
anything,
that. I've never been that bad.
no. I think I just want to do Penny Dreadful on MTGO with you
Yeah.
sometime.
I'd rather do Penny
Because
Dreadful and play Popper. That's it.
yeah, that, and it comes down to, um, and this, and personally, I don't like to follow those feeds that. It's interesting to see everybody's sentiment about the game,
Right.
and everybody talks hate, or says I'm
Mm-hmm.
done, I'm selling out, all this stuff. Um, but I think it comes back to a general, like we love the game so much that we want to see the game be a certain way,
Right.
but it never happens that way. So we kind of just get slowly like, okay, what's there left? And I feel like there is a home for Magic players who are truly invested. Like we have a home in Pauper. You know,
Mm.
they now if they
Thankfully,
print
we chose
planes,
the cheapest format to get
yeah,
into.
watch they'll print planeswalkers at common, and we just like, yeah, we're done.
That would ruin it. Yeah, I don't think
Peace
I would want
out.
to see. I don't think I want to see a planeswalker in Pocket.
No, that would ruin the game
I'm okay
forever.
with Monarch. I'm okay with the. I'm okay with, like, that's the funny thing is, like, with Pauper, like, we don't deal with planeswalkers, but we get other things. We get Monarch and we get the what was it called? Initiative.
Oh, initiative. Yeah.
And now we get, like, we get all these other things that Modern doesn't get. And I think, honestly, my opinion, I would have more fun playing Modern if we had something like Monarch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
It,
that's
it,
more of
it
the
would
direction
make
we
more
need to go.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, Legacy has
But see,
Monarch. Yeah.
yeah. But like, I'm just generally speaking here. Like, I'm looking at the metagame because I feel like people who, if you're listening to us right now, and we haven't like derailed the conversation too much, Matt and I tend to sway in and out of meta. Like we'll play meta decks, and then all of a sudden we'll like not play meta decks. But we own meta for the reason of like playing in tournaments. And if I feel like Pauper's one of those formats though that like, yes, if you were to go to a tournament, like let's just say an SCG con, you and I playing one, you would want to play one of the 10 decks, 10 to 15 that are, because you just have a better win percentage and a
Right.
better chance to win. But I actually feel like Pauper, because it's almost kind of Commander-esque. You could do it in Pioneer Modern, but you
Mm-hmm.
can just make up your own deck because it's just commons. Like
Right.
with Pioneer and Modern, you could do that, but there's no incentive because I don't think anyone's going to play like a casual Pioneer game with you, but they'll play like a casual Pauper game with you. That's what I
Well,
feel like is a big difference.
right. And I think that's a good valid point. And what's crazy is that the casual decks can actually compete against the competitive decks. Because, I mean,
Yes.
that Boros, like my Boros mid-range deck, like, it's not top tier. It's not even probably mid tier. It's probably low tier. But I played against your deck and your deck's pretty up there. Like, I've never had any issues with it, and I played it before
No, you
online a few
beat me.
times.
Yeah.
So
But see,
it
that's
has what
that's
it
the
needs.
exact point. Yeah, because you you are as a player, you advance your skills enough that you can play a deck that you've built that you want to see perform a certain way, and
Mm-hmm.
you're okay like losing to certain matchups. Um,
Right.
and I feel like that as all Magic players progress to that point, you just kind of get to a moment where you're okay with like not winning all the time and stuff. And that's where I feel like these meta games can get really like funky. And I mean, truthfully, I would love to play in tournaments all the time, but it's just not realistic for me. So
Right. Neither for
it
me
is
because
what
I
it
work
is.
weekends, and I
Yeah.
get it. And I think, and like I said, and some of it too is just like, why even compete that heavy at some points? Because, like, I'm just kind of, maybe I'm just losing it, but, like, it's just not fun now. Like, it's not like what it was, in my opinion. And I know it has to advance at some point, but it's not near as fun.
Yeah.
Because even like
Well,
because back in the day before Modern Horizons, in my opinion, like, you could technically bring in a old version of a deck that you played and still be okay with it. And that's really hard
yep.
to do now.
Yeah, they turned modern into a rotating format, which is
It sucks.
unfortunate. And I probably would get hate for saying that, but I mean, actually, I don't know though, because um, anytime I go on the forums and I read stuff, man, it's like people have just lost that spark to, I think, want to brew. decks and you
Oh
just
yeah.
like own the meta and you just interchange cards, which is fine. I mean, we know people
Right.
that do that, but
Right.
also also the part of playing Magic, which I feel like other formats captivate, is building your own deck and having your own ideas. I don't think I've ever like submitted a sideboard to a competitive event that I haven't changed cards for, and even main deck. I'll take a archetype and then I'll like change like 3 to 5 cards in it because I like playing with these cards. Like my Jeskai Ephemerate deck has fire and ice because I like fire and how I play with fire and ice better.
Right.
And that's just me. It's
Right,
probably
because
not
fire
that
and
good
ice
of a
is
card.
fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for example, the deck. I have a lot of flashback cards. Like, uh, what's it called? Fireball. What's the one I play against you? Oh, there's like two
Oh,
names.
Firebolt.
Anything? Yeah, Fireball. It's not a good card
Hmm.
at all, but it's good in that deck because it has flashback and I'm getting a crap ton of mana.
Hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I mean it sucks. I mean, like I'm not done playing modern and all that. Like I still have fun and stuff, but it's just not fun. I'm just like sorry, it's not. I said that it's fine and all that, but I'm not having fun, and it's not even
Yeah.
because I'm losing. It's just I'm just not having fun.
Well, and also too, the cycle of like doing weekly Magic events. If it's not something you're actively enjoying, then you can like always take a break. That's what I've done. I was trying to go to a card shop, at least once a week for a couple months, and I was like, it was super exciting, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, this is turning into a chore, and then it's not fun anymore. So it's a bummer, but that's I think you just have to let it come in and out of like the tide. The tide comes and the
Right.
tide goes,
Like
and
I know, yeah, no, I get it, Because
I
like I
always
even I
I
don't know,
yeah.
like for me, like my brother-in-law keeps asking me, "Hey, am I coming to play? Am I coming to play?" And like I want to, but the part of me just not really. I'd
See,
rather just
this
do
is
other things.
yeah, and that's fair, and I feel like most people, including myself, would have that sentiment. But if you do ever try to go just to hang out, I would bring a deck that's just fun. Just
Right.
I but see that's where I struggle because man, do I want to play a meme deck or practice this deck that I really like? But then I would get too competitive with it, and you're like, so it's definitely a and then you're talking about burnout, right? And then you're like, are you feeding into that yourself? Can you control
Right.
um, that loop that you can get
For
yourself
sure.
into that leads to burnout? Um, but
And and,
yeah,
and and then I get that too because like I've been trying to do the death of taxes and I've been playing up this game store and I win games with it and I lose games, but I'm not learning with the deck. That's my issue. That's another thing. There's no learning. There's nothing like I'm not getting anything out of it. I feel like that's an
yeah,
aspect that I love about the game is you get to learn, but like you're not learning right now. Like it's a lot of it's just like, all right, well I play this. Okay, you got this. You took it away from me. Congrats. I'm playing this. All right, you got this. Congrats. I'm playing.
yeah.
All right, cool. That's
No,
pretty
I
much what
have
other
to.
games kind of do.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that too because there is a sense of wonder about the game that the longer you play, you kind of see the play styles. And when we were learning together, I started like a year or two before you did, and
Mm-hmm.
you caught on really quick that first year, and then we just jumped right into competitive. And
Mm-hmm.
it was cool to see you starting to like we would both be playing around each other's plays, and we'd be trying to figure out how to develop our game plans. And then it just seemed like after we like got to that point, it just started to plateau because we were never like actively challenged by our opponents because it was just this like rock paper scissors match. And then it got
Yeah.
even worse in Modern Horizons and on. So then Pioneer came around. That's awesome. But then, and then the whole story about, lost steam, but now it's back. But now you got like, instead of rock, paper, scissors, there's like 5 to 7 decks, 5 to 6 maybe. And you're still in the same boat. Like,
And Pauper's the only one that, in my opinion, is that you can be that creative. I mean, be like, all right, well,
yes.
It's not necessary. I mean, I know we got your burn matchups, but guess what? You got prismatic strands. There's a lot of life gain. Like, I mean, that's something you do have to prepare for. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it just makes more sense.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, burnout. It's a real thing, and it can be frustrating, especially if you love something, and you like gaming is my hobby,
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in the grand scheme of things, it does reveal things about like your life that not necessarily like, okay, I need to be doing this more of this, but for me, I had to take a break from music, and now I'm able to focus my professional time on music again.
Right.
While also still enjoying the hobby with like doing the podcast with you and wanting to still make videos that I keep talking about forever, and I will keep talking about until I do them. But I've taken the pressure off myself because I understand I have responsibilities in my own life, personal life, but then also professional life. But also like, hey, I still want to do a podcast with Matt. Like, I'm going to put time aside to do that. So Burnout has its positives too.
Yeah, and like we get to talk about other things. I mean, we don't have to just talk about Magic. That's the cool thing about this channel since we're changing it up now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the and like I said too, and some of it too is like it is based off Wizards because, I mean, this new Commander Masters. I've been looking at it, and it doesn't look that great. Maybe, and I know I said it because I'm not a Commander player, but like it doesn't look that good at all. Like, even the Lord of the Rings set didn't seem that like interesting to me. Like, I mean, I like the One Ring got me off surprise because I wasn't really looking at it, but like I knew the Halfling Citizen was gonna be good, but
yeah,
just a lot of it, just nothing. A lot of it, a lot out there, but nothing interesting. Like after like the Phyrexians and stuff and how that ended terribly, I'm like, I'm obviously not. I know they got to lose, but like it didn't. Like the whole story of that wasn't even that great. So
yeah, it's just weird. It's like we want this to happen, but then when it's all said and done, you're like, why'd they do that? It's almost like, have you seen any of the Star Wars movies?
No.
Like none of them?
I saw episode one. Episode one, that's the only one.
Okay. Well, anyways, the last three.
Maybe
Yeah, the last three were definitely hit or miss by the community. And I have to agree, like, oh, excuse me, oh my goodness. We're getting up early. Sorry. I'm like getting tired here. Getting up early has changed my whole like sleeping pattern. But not to derail too much, but the idea behind what the original Star Wars were to like what the most recent three major films were is just completely a stark contrast of like where you thought the whole story was leading. And I feel like that's a general overview of how we feel about Magic. I remember when we were talking in 2018 and 19, like, man, like, just the whole trajectory has changed completely. And we have to be okay with it because I guess we don't have to be okay with it. We can voice our concerns. But, yeah.
Or just not buy the product like people did for the one Magic thing, the anniversary one.
Oh, yeah. Which, yeah. And that's probably the best thing you can do is just vote with your wallet, which is basically what we have been doing. We just buy the cards we want, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
that's all you can do. I agree.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, I will say to end it, and if you're in the same position as us, I would say just find that one format that you really like and just play it. If it's Commander with your buddies, do it. If it's Pauper, do it. And even if it's Modern, do it. I mean, like, it doesn't bother me. Like, if Magic's still something you care about, and sometimes you just gotta take a month away from it, walk away, maybe even longer. I wouldn't sell your stuff unless you had like you're needing money or something, but
Yeah, don't do what I do.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I'll always remember those times. Yeah.
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 Like I said, I mean, like I said, it's.
Well, here's another.
Like even secret layers weren't that great. Did you see the newest secret layer?
No, I don't. I haven't followed any of those.
It's pretty bad, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like
one of them they're charging like $40 for just a bunch of commons and uncommons.
So here's my hot take, which I don't even know if it's a hot take because probably other people feel this way. If there was some way to detach value with Magic cards, I feel like we would regain some of the excitement about the game.
Right.
That's why I'm cautiously optimistic about seeing where Flesh and Blood and Lorcana and Sorcery and all these other smaller games, like where they end up in 5+ years, because I know that the investors will invest into them. But the thing is what about just being excited about the game? Because
Right.
I like Magic when you sit down and play. We've talked about this like 3 or 4 times already. But the concept of when you sit down and play just like you would play any other game, Magic has a very good core gameplay loop.
Right.
How you play the game. And I've always loved that. I think a lot of our friends that we played with and would say the same thing. But then you'd pile on everything. If it's just all these layers of just crap that we deal with as players, and it's not fun after a while. And I think it is important just to remember why you like the game, but also you can step away from it and be okay too.
Right.
Because the game will always be there. Even if they stop printing the cards, we could still play Jeskai Ephemerate versus Boros Ephemerate. You know what I mean? We could still play that.
Proxy them out.
Make up our own cards. Yeah. Proxy and make up our own card sets. Fun. But yeah, that's another perspective I've tried to understand. You kind of have to be in charge of your own fun and also encourage other players to do the same. That's why I feel like I've been so excited about Diablo, and I'm still having fun playing the game.
Right.
But when I see some of my favorite streamers and other people I'm done with it, or this and that and this and that, and it's I just struggle with that because I'm not trying to be a shill for the company because Blizzard does some ridiculous things and Wizards does some ridiculous things. But sometimes you just gotta you let the boat, you just let it ride, and you're
absolutely.
You can't control it. I mean, you can, and then it's so then you accept where it's at, and
jump off the boat. That's the only good news.
Yeah, we'll just jump right off. But I guess to wrap my point up is it's your choice if you want to jump in and jump out, and I feel that's the thing that you have to be all in or all out, and you don't necessarily have to have that mindset where you can just participate in what you like about the game, and then also just let the other stuff kind of sort itself out. Because believe me, if enough people stop playing these games that we like, that's probably what would happen. Is that's when they make change. But
yeah, Post Malone's done playing Magic.
Yeah, everything will change.
That'd be the one.
He doesn't endorse it anymore, and they'll be like, "All right, Pro Tour is SCG's back on because Post Malone's gonna."
Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, this has been an interesting podcast. It's kind of gone a couple different ways.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the main thing I'm just going to probably, I don't know if we're getting close to the end or whatever, but I guess the main thing, the 2 points to get out of today's podcast is to, if you love the game, you need to either do two things: take a step back and do something else for a little bit till the wave is over, or you play something different till the wave is over. That's probably the best way I can say. And,
I agree. Try something new.
but yeah, I think other than that, is there anything else you want to do on today's podcast?
Um, I don't have like any other agenda other than just hanging out, talking. Which,
Right.
um,
So I know you got work, so just want to make sure.
did I tell you I got Employee of the Month?
Yes, you did.
So that's fun. And I think that's just such a crazy thing. I've had this new job for just about 3 months, and I was like, okay, well, there we go. So that's kind of a weird. I think on top of that, it's like, when you try to seek stability in your life, the things that you kind of like latch onto. For me, it's always been gaming. I always have like if things are wonky, gaming's always there. But then when I like stabilize in other parts of my life and I get, finances and other things going, then I'm like, why is gaming not right? Like, what's wrong with it? Like, I only could play like an hour or two a night, or sometimes even an hour or two a week. Like, I'm not enjoying it. It's just weird how life works that way sometimes.
Right.
I feel like there's an equilibrium though that you just have to seek individually for yourself and
Yeah.
find a way to enjoy it, but also like work on yourself too. So
Yeah.
it's getting
Like I said,
deep.
yeah, I agree. I will say probably to top on that. Like I hit last episode, I finally hit my 5 years at my job. They did something for me on that.
Nice.
I think a lot of my stuff is just because of recent things and stuff like that. But honestly, I think it came in perfect timing. That's weird, right? Let me just take a step back. I think with everything happening, I think that's I think it's just right now it's good for me to take a step back and just kind of focus more about other things. I mean, I've been working a little bit more. I got some plans on buying something pretty big try to increase my wealth. And but like I said, that's kind of all I've been trying to think about my future. That's been my thing. Heck, I've even been burnt out with school lately too. So, and that's that's part. And I'm like, that's something I'm not used to either. So.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
Other than that, things are going pretty good. Like I said.
I feel like this podcast is going to turn into a diary of our life. Eventually, it's going to be the weirdest Magic gaming diary of like
I'm not gonna get this personal on any other channel.
Yeah.
I mean, NTG Goldfish isn't getting this way, and Magic Masters of Modern are not.
Yeah.
Jake and Jewel.
We may never be sponsored, but what we will have is that we will always be real and have the most real talks, because it really comes down to, like, if you can, it's getting late, so I might not say this right, but the human experience is, like, so weird, like, because intrinsically we're all experiencing it at the same time. Mm-hmm. But, like, everybody kind of has their own life that they're dealing with. Right. So we both were going through a lot in our past month, but we're able to come back together and, share experiences, but also, like, encourage each other. And that I feel like we need to seek out more and more. Like, I think right before we started this podcast, I was like, we just have to keep doing this. We have to keep the podcast going. Like, even if I never make a YouTube.
If we don't keep our regular channels going, you keep this one going at least.
So. Yeah, because I think I see a ton of, like, especially like people our age, just having these moments of like, I just want a friend to talk to, or I just want, some kind of connection with somebody that's
Right.
like a mutual connection of understanding. Because out there in life, it doesn't seem like that. You go and you work, you pay your bills, you try to have some fun with hobbies, you're taking care of family. Life just happens. But sometimes you just need to chill and realize there's a bigger picture to the whole thing.
Right.
Even spiritually too, speaking. Which I know we've talked about that before, maybe making some of these podcasts into just your entire scope of life, but that might be too deep for 41 minutes into the podcast.
Yeah.
We might just have to make a whole separate podcast day for that, where we can just talk about, because we even tried to start a magic group at our church, and what was crazy is we almost did it. Yeah. And then COVID happened. Literally, we were going to start that next week, and we had 20 to 30 people interested. I may be over exaggerating, but it was somewhere between 10 to 20. A lot of people. And Clinton had everything ready to go.
Yeah. We're just gonna be on.
We were ready.
Not like a legit LGS, but the money that we would make was just gonna go back to it.
We even made that distinction. Said all we're doing is paying into the prize pool and to buy more boxes for that prize pool. No other money was to be made. And everyone loved that idea. And I think I'd even pitched that idea since I started the game. Why don't we just all split a box and do this? And it finally was going to come to fruition, and then COVID just ripped that out of them. And then it just never happened, and tabletop magic has been different ever since. So it's been a lot of change over the past 4 years that we've all had to deal with. But that's what life is. It's the waves. I should write a song about that. Waves of life.
Well, I guess we should probably end it right here. I appreciate everybody who's watching. Like I said, I'm sorry that's been a month, but we're doing better now, and we're going to keep going and try to push to another episode. And it may not be too much magic topic, but heck, it might just turn to just personal talk. So if you guys enjoy that, that's awesome.
Yes, if you make it to the end of this podcast, please like and subscribe. And also, if you can put a comment about topics that you would like to hear. Even if you don't comment on videos, because I'm one of those people that I watch 20 videos and I don't comment on any of them, which it is what it is. You could even just message us and just say, hey, talk about this, and
we don't even want to comment for the algorithm. We just want to comment because we're just hey, what do you guys want to talk about? So
yeah,
we're not
because it'd be fun to
in this. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but
it probably that's one of those. But see, this is it, man. This is what happens, is when you don't try to do it, that's when it happens. Yeah. But when you try to, it's all the forces just are no, do not.
Right.
And then it's oh yeah, we're just chilling, and then that's the thing that takes off. And you're okay. So
it's not even going to become a magic podcast by the end of this and calling it.
No, it's probably going to be some kind of two dudes and talking about games and life.
Two dudes, one topic.
Okay, not that. That's okay. Yeah, we should definitely cut the podcast off now.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I want to do a shout out to Aaron. If you're watching this whole thing, thank you for watching. I told me at work that you watched the whole first episode. And you watched it, we mentioned it before, that, hey, no one's probably listening at this point. And he said, hey, I am. So you're the #1 subscriber at this moment. So congratulations, Aaron.
Nice. Love it.
You guys take it easy. See you later.